Here on Motorhead Garage, we are famous for anything with a motor and wheels, and if it's cool, we love it. Not much cooler than this custom truck. All this, everything that's behind it, and a whole lot more coming up next on Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat. Welcome to another edition of Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. This show is supersized. We had to bring it outside because we've got this magnificent truck, and it is from our friends at Jones Performance. You know, trucks like these are the lifeblood of America, and it's important that they keep rolling, and nobody keeps them rolling better than the folks at Jones Performance. They're the leading manufacturer of aftermarket truck parts. And Rod, what kind of hoods, for example, do you guys cover?
Like you said, we build over 140 different models, anything from the Volvos to Sterling, Western Star, Freightliner, and many more.
And it's not just hoods, there's other things you build as well.
Right. We have a bumper line, chrome bumpers. We can build custom bumpers from that. Headlights, grills, fender extensions.
What's the range we're talking for parts? How old can the truck be?
We got stuff that goes back into the 60s, all the way up to current production.
How long have you guys been at this?
My grandfather and my dad started the business in my grandfather's garage in 1978, and it's just blown up into what it is.
You think you told me there's actually a model you make that your grandfather designed the mold for?
Yeah, there's actually a couple models that we still build that he built the mold. We're still running them.
And it starts with the design, right? How do you scan for the mold in the first place?
Well, we do use some scanning technology. A lot of it is just old school, hands-on. Our guys are good. I mean, I'd put them up against anybody in the country.
What kind of experience do your folks have doing this?
Most of the guys in the tooling shop have been there 20 plus years. You know, we got a lot of guys that have been there 30 plus years.
And from start to finish, once we start with the mold, what's the process you go through to manufacture a hood like this?
We build the master right in-house. All the surfaces are swept, so it's not just a pop off of an existing hood. We re-sweep everything. It's we call it precision bodywork.
And your quality control, of course, second to none, right?
Yeah, we've been ISO certified, Q1 certified for over 20 years.
And your customer support is what I really love. You call, you get an actual human being, somebody in the United States who's going to help you out.
Yeah. Most of the time you'll talk to our sales managers or our sales team. If they can't handle it, a lot of times it gets sent to me. You're talking right to me.
And there's also instructional videos. I've seen those online as well.
Yeah.
How to do all this. But if none of that works, if I've got some unique problem, what else have you done to help people?
We get it taken care of. I mean, no matter what it takes, I will jump on a plane and go somewhere and take care of it, whatever it takes.
And ultimately, again, you're getting the quality product. We know that, but if something goes wrong once you have it, what kind of warranty do you offer?
We have a 2-year warranty against any manufacturing defects.
All right, let's say I hit a deer or something befalls me and I need a hood immediately. What's the turnaround time from you guys?
Yeah, we keep over 400 hoods in stock, so generally everything ships either same day or at least the next day.
So super quick turnaround time. What's the prep process like? What do I need to do to prepare for that new hood?
We recommend fitting the hoods first. After everything's adjusted properly, take the hood off, sand it, prime it, and paint it.
And now let's talk about the fenders. What do we have going on here?
Yeah, this is a custom version of a 389 fender. The 389 is actually, it's originally an aluminum fender. This is obviously fiberglass, and we have the liner built right into it.
And that's a quality thing that's going to last forever, and it's going to look great too because it's wider than the original, right?
A little bit on the back and the sides. It can be repaired. That's a big plus, compared to an aluminum fender.
And you've got something here that gives it a little bit of extra gussying up, I guess, but you can go even more extreme because you have custom hoods as well. Where do those come in?
That's where truck rods comes in. That's where you start getting excited. Truck rods, we started up in the mid to early 2000s. Just started building custom hoods, custom trucks, custom parts.
Now the truck we're looking at here, this is kind of your showpiece. It's a really special one, and it's pretty famous in the trucking world. Tell me about this one.
Yeah, this is Happer. This was kind of a memorial to my grandfather, Hap Jones. Him and my father started the company. This is a 1996 Kenworth W900L, and it's got a lot of work done to it.
And what kind of stuff? Obviously the paint looks amazing.
It's the original blue paint on this truck with a whole lot of graphics and a whole lot of clear. We did all this in-house. We don't generally do paint work, but this is kind of the quality that we do. And then to take it a step farther, it's got a homemade flame kit on it. We built this all monkeying around in the garage.
Well, we see the aerodynamics back here over the rear wheels. And what about the hood and the fenders? Those kind of stand out too.
Yeah, so the rear fenders were kind of modeled after the Raptor hood. The Raptor design is our own design. It was done with a little bit of CNC equipment, CAD design and hand sculpting.
Well, it looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It's really an incredible truck, and you guys make all kinds of great stuff. You can check them out at jonesperformance.com, whether you're talking form or function. Great ways to keep your truck running and looking great. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat coming up right after this.
Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat is brought to you by Magic Creeper, the most versatile creeper ever. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977. Alumacraft, the best aluminum street rod and hot rod grills. And by Top Coat, advanced coating solutions through innovation and technology.
Welcome back to Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. You know, if you bought an International Scout like this one back in 1969, you'd find that it made a whopping 86 horsepower. So naturally, if you're restoring it like this owner is, you go for some LS power. It's easy to put in, it's easy to install, but when it comes to wiring, that can kind of be a strange voodoo, and why wouldn't it be when you have a mess like this to start with? So Andy, how do you take this and make it into this?
The goal is to make it very simple, very easy for anybody to install. So you could just send in something like this, and I send back something like this.
How much of this are you reusing on your LSX Specialties harness?
Maybe half of this. A lot of this stuff doesn't need to be in the harness, it doesn't go to the engine. That's all eliminated. Something like this doesn't need all the extra stuff in it, so it's kind of cuts down on the size quite a bit.
Now, every LS motor across the range, they're all a little bit different. So how do you handle that?
I build every single harness custom to the order. Injector connectors, PCM location, everything's got its own little difference between the motors. So I make them very custom.
And everything that is one color on this harness is the same color here, right?
Everything's GM colors, yep. The way that it came.
Excellent, making it easy to install. So it's all about the installation. So let's go take a look at how that works.
Perfect.
The thing I really love about what you've done here is everything is labeled. Driver's side, passenger side, makes it super easy.
Yes, very simple, falls right into place.
And no two sensors are the same, so you can't really mess this up.
That's right.
The first couple connections at the back of the engine, what are we doing there?
That's the cam position sensor, very difficult to reach, but it can be done feeling around from the passenger side.
And that's really the hardest part of the install. Once you get past that, it's all downhill from there.
Yes.
Now, you include a wire for the speed sensor, but not every engine includes those.
Right, depending on the year of the transmission and the style.
But it's there in case you need it.
Right.
Cool. By the way, I forgot to ask you, what is this wrapped in?
This is seamless nylon loom. It's all braided. It's very durable when rubbing across the motor, and it's good for pressure washing, cleaning it all up, and it just looks really nice.
And getting underneath here, you got a couple O2 sensors to get to.
Just one on each side, yes.
And another little tricky one, the crankshaft position sensor, that's behind the starter.
Yes, also a lot like the cam sensor, just feel around and you can snap it in.
A few wires to connect then.
There's a constant battery wire, a switched ignition, and then power to the fuel pump, which already has a relay and a fuse.
And then the computer, and that is something you can help out with.
Yes, I can do all the programming in there. I can delete security, rear O2 sensors, anything that doesn't need to be there, transmission controls. I can build a good base tune for your combination also.
So I can send you my wiring harness, and I can send you my original computer, and you can take care of both.
That's right.
Only one thing left to do.
Let's start it up.
Do it. Just that simple.
Very simple.
It only went in a few minutes. It looks great, works perfectly. Check them out at LSX Specialties. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook, as well as their website.
Now, a vacuum gauge is a good way to see what's going on inside your engine. You know, on the compression stroke, you're making compression, but on the intake, you're making vacuum, and you want to check the valves, exhaust. It does all kinds of cool things. I'll show you how I use it. Actually, unplug the brake booster right here. This is an excellent source of intake manifold vacuum. I'm just going to take the hose and put it inside of there. So when we crank it up, we're hoping we get some kind of vacuum and get a reading. I got somebody inside the car, so if you go ahead and crank it up for us. Perfect, man, this thing's got great vacuum. You're talking anywhere from 15 to about 26 inches of mercury of vacuum. That's good. Now, a couple of the readings. You can pull up this graphic right here. You can see the first one on the chart, that's actually normal vacuum, steady between 17 and 21. If you had an intake leak, well, then everything would be low. So you would see a steady but a low reading, somewhere between 5 and 10. You go around to the timing, ignition timing, and valves. That's usually indicated by a flicking valve. Something's going on with those valves. And last but not least, 2,500 RPM, hold your accelerator there. If it slowly drops to 0, you got a problem with the exhaust. Vacuum gauge reading, man, this is a great way to diagnose your car.
We are just getting started on Motorhead Garage presented by Top Coat. And if you like the classics, you're going to love what we have in store for you. We'll revisit the National Street Rod Association Shindig in Kentucky. See this rare beauty and a whole lot more coming up.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
You know, it's just good business sense. The car manufacturers have figured out a way to use the same power plant across different cars in their line. And with some of the parts, Tom, that makes things a little more complicated how they manufacture them.
Right, yeah, this is a thermostat housing from the Chrysler 3.6 liter that they use in Jeeps, minivans, Ram trucks, front wheel drive cars. So it varies how the engine is mounted in the vehicle, and to make it easier to bleed off the excess air when you change the coolant, they add a little bleeder valve. So if the thermostat housing has to be down low or up high, it doesn't matter. You can always bleed off the air and make sure your coolant system doesn't have air in it, and the water pump and everything will work efficiently.
And this is always one unit?
No, that's something new in newer vehicles. You'll have one unit, the thermostat and the housing are replaced together.
Gotcha. Now, a lot of parts you see rebates on. How does Rockauto handle a manufacturer's rebate?
We have a promotions and rebates page. You click there and you see all the parts that there's currently rebates for. And we also have, as you shop through the catalog, you'll see little stars that tell you rebates available, and you can click on that. And rebates now are available for a lot more parts than they were 20, 30 years ago. It's not just spark plugs and air filters. It'll be parts like this, fuel injectors, axles, and you can save even more off our reliably low prices.
And now I don't have to go to the auto parts store, and invariably there's that little pad of paper with the rebates you tear off. It's greasy, now it's virus covered. Who knows what you're getting into, and Rockauto makes it super simple.
Right, yeah, you don't have to ask, is a rebate available? You can see, hey, the little star, look on the promotions and rebates page.
So rebates can make reliably low prices even lower at rockauto.com.
Time now for the lowdown with Magic Creeper.
We have talked about the Magic Creeper and how it is not just a useful tool, it is the most versatile tool you can have in your vehicle. Whether you have your family truckster, you're taking it along in the minivan or in the car on the way to work, or you have it in your truck, you're doing maybe a little bit of work, you need the Magic Creeper with you. You can use it if you need to get underneath to fix stuff. You can use it as a knee pad whenever you're doing work around the garden or around the house. And of course, you can use it as kind of a conveyor belt to get heavy loads out of the back of your truck. Other folks that are really going to love the Magic Creeper, think about your recreational vehicle. Now, those things last a long, long time, but of course, with age comes problems when it comes to motor vehicles, as we all know here. And that means sometimes breakdowns when you have the whole family with you. And if you need to get underneath, the Magic Creeper is going to make it easy. It rolls under a lot easier than a regular creeper. In fact, it does things a regular creeper could not do. Wheels on a creeper would not roll over gravel, would not roll over rough terrain. The Magic Creeper sails over all of those things with no problem whatsoever, glides like you are on ice. And think about others who could use this. Long-haul truckers, carry this in your truck. Anytime you have a similar problem on the side of the road, as often happens with truckers, the Magic Creeper is going to help you get under your vehicle, or is going to help you as you're beside your vehicle getting repairs. And of course, fleets can benefit from the Magic Creeper. Military, these are only 3 pounds a piece, so you can throw them inside the vehicle. You'll never even know it's there, and it'll be there when you need it. Police stations across the U.S., any kind of EMS services, these can be thrown in the vehicles. They take up so little space, and they are compact, they're lightweight, and again, you'll never know it's there until you need it. There is only one Magic Creeper. You will find impersonators out there on the internet. Do not buy them. Go to magiccreeper.com to find the authentic, the original Magic Creeper.
Let me give you a scenario that everybody can relate to. You're going down the road, you hit the brake pedal, and bam, you start feeling a pulsation or a shimmy in the steering wheel. Probably resulted from lateral runout. I'll show you how to measure that real quick. Just go ahead and take your wheel off. Ferrari was nice enough to give us these studs, but if your rotor's loose, put some lug nuts on and secure them. I got a dial indicator set up right here, zeroed out, touching the rotor. Just simply go around and spin your rotor around. And what you don't want is any more than 3 thousandths. If you have more than 3 thousandths, well, guess what? That 3/1000 goes around. That really doesn't cause the pedal pulsation, but it causes disc thickness variation. It's hitting the rotor, bam, bam, bam. When it does that, the pads go in and out, and you start to feel it. Well, you can just take a micrometer, you can go around the rotor in 8 different places at the same difference. You don't want any more than 5/10,000ths. That's less than 1,000th. And what that does, it gives you that pedal feel or that pedal pulsation. It's disc thickness variation. Now, how do you stop that? Well, don't over torque the lug nuts. Make sure that your surfaces are clean between your rotor and your hub. And when you put everything back together, use proper torque specifications, because you don't want to go down the road and feel that pedal pulsation. These 2 measurements, along with those tips, will help you avoid that.
Still to come, the annual NSRA Nationals features the best of the best, including a 1929 Woody that'll knock your socks off. Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, continues right after this.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, is brought to you by Stage 8 Fasteners, home of the world's best locking header bolt. Locking kits now available for all turbo applications. Go to stage8.com. Hot Rod Halo, the ultimate portable vehicle display barrier system. Midler Brothers, shaping the world since 1980. And by NH Oil Undercoating, the official oil-based rust prevention system.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat, had a chance to roll up to Kentucky. That's where we checked out the annual NSRA Nationals. Every year, classic car lovers flock to Louisville to worship the automobile, and they get to share their passion with tens of thousands of their closest friends. It's a collection of some of the most incredible builds you've ever seen. And here is one of our favorites. It's a 1953 Henry J, really one of America's first attempts at an affordable compact car. Cecil Taylor restored it for his wife to use as a daily driver. It's incredible, and it's not the only great-looking build he's brought to the show. The NH Oil Top Truck is catching a lot of attention here at the NSRA Nationals, and once again, Cecil Taylor is responsible for this magnificent work of art. Tell me about this 29 Ford.
Well, it belongs to Greg and Gail Wilson right here in Louisville, and this is the 3rd car I've built for him. I built him 2 Woodies, and he told me I want a truck that's worthy of going to the Riddler and at least winning the Grade 8. And we just got it completely built. I'm not a painter, so Greg Wilson wanted to have his own painter up here, take the car apart, paint it, and put it back together, and his name was Brad Starks, Rod and Custom. Did a great job of taking it to the next level. It's called Root Beer Brown. The actual original 29 trucks, all of them, were pretty confining. They had a very small cab. I don't know how 6'4" farmers got in. They had to wind themselves up, I think. But we extended the cab 4 inches, so we had a little more cabin room, because Greg's a big guy. And then because he wanted to run a surfboard in the bed, we had to make the bed 5 inches longer to kind of make it proportionate. So instead of a 103-inch wheelbase of a Model A, it's actually a 112-inch wheelbase like a 1934 Ford.
Did you do all this woodwork yourself?
Well, between my son and myself, Greg, he did most of the woodwork. That's what he does. We built 129 Woodies at our shop. But I mostly do the metal work. He does the woodwork, but we can both do either. It doesn't matter. It's like anything else, you know, playing a piano, the more you practice, the better you get. But he's done enough of them. He's pretty sharp.
What kind of wood is that?
It's hard maple on the main part of it, and then the bed kind of looks like mahogany, but it's called Sapolo wood. And then he had somebody in Louisville do all the clearing of the wood. They did a great job on that. And the name of the truck is called Driftwood, and that came from when they got married. They went to the Driftwood Motel, and since it's a Woody, he wanted to call it Driftwood.
What's under the hood?
Well, it has a Ford V8 flathead, then he has a automatic transmission, and then it has a quick change rear end. It's got all stainless steel exhaust. Everything on it is either stainless or aluminum, you know, kind of maintenance free. We actually went to the Riddler 3 months ago in Detroit, and we didn't win the Riddler, but we did get into the Grade 8 with it, which is exactly what he had planned. So we were successful in getting his dream come true.
How gratifying is it for you to start a project and finish it exactly the way the customer wanted it?
Well, that's my goal. I tell every one of them, it ain't all about the money. When I get done and you walk down this driveway for the last time or drive your car out, I want it to be exactly the car you came here to get. I don't want it to be my car. I want it to be your car.
All right, backyard mechanics, you know how this works. Your car has 4 jack points. You look in the manual to find out where they are. You jack the car up, and of course, there's no place to put the jack stand because the jack's already occupying that spot. Well, that is where Ren Stands come in. Let me show you how they work. First thing you want to do is remove the center section of the Ren stand, and you grab the jack saddle that works for you. Again, in this case, we're going for the pinch weld, so we have the perfect jack saddle for that. We're going to slide it underneath just as we would a regular jack right there on the pinch weld and start to jack it up. Once we do that and we get it high enough to get our work done underneath, then we're going to slide in both sides of the Ren stand, and all you have to do is lock them in with a pin. These, by the way, are safe. They each have a shear strength of 9,000 pounds, so you don't need to worry about the durability. You don't have to worry about all those jack stands that are being recalled these days. The Ren stand is much more durable, much stronger. And once you get those pins in, then it's time to lower the car onto the Ren stand, and it should be the perfect height for you to work. It's very stable. You see how wide the feet are? This thing isn't going anywhere. Of course, you want to chalk the opposite side wheel just for safety anyway. Now, let's say you're getting under the car, but it's not high enough. Guess what? You don't even have to lower the car to change out the Ren stand, to change the height. All you do is lift it up just a little bit more. Then you can pull out the pins, pull out the side of the Ren stand, adjust it to the height you want, and then drop the car back down again, and voila, you have more clearance instantly, and you didn't even have to bring the car all the way to the ground. Now, Rennen, that means race in German. Autorennen would be auto racing. And think about all you racers out there, if you want to go autocrossing or go to the drag strip, this is the perfect thing. You jack up the car real quickly with this. You can change the height on the fly. It's super simple with Ren stands, and it's super safe up there. Very stable platform to work on your car, and it changes very, very quickly. So it's the perfect thing to have in your pit. Now, Ren stands, as I mentioned, are very, very strong, individually tested to over 9 tons. That's 18,000 pounds. That's more than enough strength you will need to hold up your car, especially your race car. The Ren stand is great, and lots of folks agree. In fact, it's the winner of the Global Media Award in 2020 at the SEMA show. So this is the best of the best right here. These things were designed and invented in the United States, and they're made and beautifully finished by ETA Manufacturing. You can check out their website at etamfg.com. Now, what if you have to put the car up, the entire car up? Maybe you're installing an exhaust system and you want to go from front to rear. Well, that is where the lift stand comes in, also made by ETA Manufacturing. If you don't have a garage and you don't have a 4-post lift, this is the thing for you. You can actually put all 4 tires up on the lift stands, and they'll give you some extra clearance underneath. With lift stands, you can get an extra 2 feet of ground clearance, or you can bring the car 2 feet closer to you and keep from breaking your back. You can check them out on their website at ETAMFG or at summitracing.com. We've covered a ton of ground, but I am sad to say we've used up all of our time for this episode. So until next time, if you have a few moments, you can find us on Facebook. And if you know of something cool that should be on our show, email jeff@masterstv.com. Until then, so long from all of us here at Motorhead Garage, presented by Top Coat.